Chapter 9. A Little Bit of Drool. Chloe looked at her alarm clock radio when she finally dropped into bed at 6:44 a.m. She had never been to bed that late, ever. Adults didn't even go to bed that late. Maybe very naughty rock star ones, but not many. She closed her eyes for a second. Chloe! Chloe! Wake up! Chloe! Shouted Mum from outside the door. She knocked on the door 3 times, then paused, then knocked once more, which was especially annoying as Chloe hadn't expected her to. She looked at the alarm clock radio thing again at 6:45 a.m. She had either been asleep for a whole day or a whole minute. As she couldn't open her eyes, Chloe guessed it must have been a minute. "What?" she said. She was shocked by how deep and gravely she sounded. Telling stories all night had turned Chloe's voice into that of a 60-year-old ex-coal miner who had smoked 100 roll-ups a day. "Don't what me, young lady. It's you. Stop lazing around in that bed. Your sis has already completed a triathlon this morning. Now, get up. I need you to help me on the campaign trail." Chloe was so tired she felt she had grown into her bed. In fact, she wasn't sure where her body ended and in the bed began. She slid out from under her duvet and crawled to the bathroom, blinking in the mirror. Chloe thought for a moment, and then she was looking at her own Nana. Then sighing, she made her way downstairs and to the kitchen table. "We're going campaigning today," said Mother, as she slipped her grapefruit juice and swallowed the motorway tailback of a vitamin pill and her food supplements, and then lined up neatly on the table. "It sounds boring," said Chloe. She made the word boring sound even more boring by making it longer, and it really needed to be. On Sunday mornings, Mother would allow the television to be switched on so she could watch programs about politics. Chloe liked watching television. In a house where viewing was rationed, even an advert for a Stena stair lift was a treat. However, these political discussion shows, which no apparent reason were broadcast on Sunday mornings, were bum-numbing boring. They made Chloe think that she wanted to be a kid forever. If this was what grown-ups' world was like, Chloe always suspected that her mother had another motive for watching. She had a crush on the Prime Minister. Chloe couldn't see it herself, but lots of women her mother's age seemed to find him dishy. To Dad's astonishment, Mother would always stop whatever she was doing to watch the Prime Minister if he came on the news. Once Chloe had even spotted a little bit of drool oozing out of her mother's mouth when there was some footage of the Prime Minister in denim shorts playing frisbee on the beach. Of course, even the sight of her mother's drooling didn't make those political shows less boring, but Chloe would have to watch hundreds of them, and it meant not having to spend the day campaigning with her mother. That was how boring it was going to be. "Well, you coming whether you like it or not," said Mother, "and she put that frilly yellow dress on, and I bought you for your birthday. You look so pretty in that." Chloe didn't look anywhere near pretty in it. She looked like Quality Street. If that wasn't bad enough, she looked like one of the unpopular flavours that had been left in the tin until made its way into the new year. The only colour she really liked wearing was black. She thought black was cool, and even better, it made her look less chubby. Chloe desperately wanted to be a goth, and she knew where to start. You couldn't buy goth clothes in Marks and Spencer's, and anyway, you needed the white makeup and the black hair dye, and most importantly, the skill of looking down at your shoes all the time. How would she go about becoming a goth? There was an application form to fill in. A committee of super goths who would vet you for gothiness, or was it gothnicity? Chloe had once seen a real-life goth hanging around by the bin in the high street, and she became incredibly excited. She really wanted to go over and ask her how to get started in the goth world, but she was too shy, which was ironic since shyness is something you need if you want to be a successful goth. In the unlikely event of the Elizabeth the cat becoming a goth, she would look at this. Let's get back to the story. It's cold outside, Chloe, said her mother, when Chloe came downstairs in the horrible quality coloured dress. You need a coat. How about the tangerine coloured coat your grandmother made you last Christmas? Chloe reached into the room under the stairs. This was where everyone in the family kept their coats and Wellington boots. She heard a rustle in the darkness. Had Elizabeth the cat got shut in there by mistake, or had Mr. Stink moved indoors? She switched on the light. Peeking out from behind the bottom of her old fur coat was a frightened face. Dad! Shh! What was that hiding in there? Chloe whispered. You were meant to be at work. No, I'm not. I've lost my job at the factory, said Dad sorrowfully. What? A whole load of us got made redundant 2 weeks ago. No one is buying new cars right now. It's the recession, I suppose. Yes, but why are you hiding? I'm too frightened to tell your mother. She'll divorce me if she finds out. Please, I beg you, don't tell her. I'm not sure she'd Please, Chloe, I'll sort you out soon. It's not going to be easy, but I'll get another job if I can. He leaned forward so that the hem of the fur coat was draped over his head and the thick fur looking like a mess of his curly hair. So that's what you look like with hair, Chloe whispered. What? It was definitely Dad on that CD cover. With the fur over his head, he looked just like he did in that photo, and that was an astonishing perm. If you need a job, you can always go back to playing guitar with the Serpents of Doom, said Chloe. And Dad looked startled. Who told you I was in a band? I saw your CD. I asked Mother, but she... Shh, said Dad. Keep it down. Wait. Where did you see the CD? Looking for my old hamster cage in the shed, and it was in a box with loads of old junk. There was a burnt guitar with it. Dad opened his mouth to say something, but just at that moment a door slammed upstairs. Come along, Chloe, boomed Mother. Promise you won't say anything about me losing my job, whispered Dad. I promise. Chloe shut the door, leaving her dad on all fours in the darkness. Now there was two fully grown men hiding around the house. What's next, she thought. And I was going to find Grandad in the tumble dryer.